What's up out there? How you doing? Jeff D, the Talent Opportunity Connector. We are Talent Tip of the Week. So you just got approval for a new requisition for your team, and you're just wondering, how the heck do I get started? How do I make sure this is my most successful hire ever? Because after all, when you hire talent for your team, you want to make sure that they're successful and ultimately your company is successful. So what are the three highest impact responsibilities? What I would say the three things as a hiring manager, personally being a hiring manager in my past, what do you like to focus on? So first, what you want to do is define exactly what success looks like before you hire. Don't think about it after the fact. Don't, because then you create an aura of confusion if you don't understand what success is. Many hiring managers have, mistakes happen. Many hiring mistakes happen because you end up recruiting for a job description instead of defining success. What are the top three outcomes this person must achieve in their first year? What skills are truly required versus nice to have? And that's an important one. You have to understand what's essential for the role versus nice to have. What personality and work style fits the team? You should know that before you start talking to candidates. And how will success be measured after 30, 60, and 90 days? Because I'll guarantee to you that the candidate in their interviews are going to ask you that question, and you got to be prepared for that question. Because clear expectation attract the right candidates, right? And you don't want to waste time. So, second thing, interview for competency, not chemistry. Of course, it's easy to hire people you like, but it's much more effective to hire people that consistently perform. And that's an important task. You want somebody that's going to perform in your team. Focus on interviews, interview questions like behavioral questions. Tell me about a time that you did X, Y, Z. Give me real examples of solving similar problems. Cultural contribution versus cultural fit, and references that validate accomplishments. That's a big one there. So I always say you still need to talk to references of the candidate just to be sure, get all the people's opinions, right? Because a structured interview process significantly improves the hiring accuracy. So those are some of the things you want to do in the interview process. You want to interview for competency, not chemistry. And then the next thing is creating a great candidate experience. And I can't emphasize this more. As a recruiter and back when I was a hiring manager, if the candidate gets the rumor around that you constantly bring them back, you don't know what you're saying. The worst thing, and I have a quick story. Once I was on an interview, and this person comes in, never saw my resume. They asked me, I don't understand why I'm here, but what do you do? And my first impression of that company was like, I'm done. I'm not interviewing here because this company has no clue or no plan with my success. So create a great candidate experience, because candidates are evaluating your company just as much as you're evaluating them. And for the A players, I can't emphasize that more. So you want to communicate promptly. You can't leave people in the dark. You can't ghost. Once you start ghosting candidates, your reputation goes down the tubes, right? You want to respect the candidate's time. They're professionals just like you. And you want to keep the interview process organized. You need to have a structured interview process and decision-making process for each candidate. And of course, sell the opportunity honestly. Don't hire a candidate and then all of a sudden they're doing something different a month later. They're going to leave, all right? And of course, we talk about providing timely feedback and decision-making, because strong candidates have multiple opportunities. Well, let's face facts. They're not just interviewing at your company, they're interviewing at many companies. They're A players. And of course, if they have a great experience, it's kind of like going to a great restaurant, having great food and great service. They're going to recommend your company, and you'll end up doing better in those Glassdoor ratings. So the bottom line, best hiring managers excel at three things: knowing exactly who they need, they know how to assess candidates objectively, and they treat each candidate like a future customer or an ambassador. If you do those well, you make better hires, you'll reduce turnover, improve team performance, and strengthen your brand. And we've talked about brand in past videos, so that's an important thing to always think about your employee brand. And one final thought, hiring is not an HR responsibility alone. It's actually a leadership responsibility. HR just provides the process. Recruiters provide the process. Great leaders don't just fill open positions, they build teams. And that's what you want to be. You want to drive the business forward. And of course, last but not least, if you need help, reach out to me. I was a leader for 20 years. Now I'm a talent opportunity connector. I'm helping leaders like you get the right talent. So have a good day.